Tag, from director Shion Sono, is a Japanese action horror fantasy movie that follows Reina Trendle as Mitsuko, a mousy high school student who suddenly finds herself lost in an increasingly strange multiverse, slipping from one strange but familiar world to the next, losing track of who she really is with every new leap. Hi, I'm Cinematico Magnifico of AmoralCrackpot.com, and welcome to the Nightly Chill. Now, Tag is quite possibly the most bizarre movie I've come across in years. It's not particularly good, the acting is wooden more often than not, and whatever it attempts to pass off as a story or thematic elements are vague at best and totally off-point at worst. But it's so delightfully surreal that you almost have no choice but to continue watching just to see where Sono takes the movie next. One moment we're watching an entire class of high school students being brutally butchered by some supernatural force. The next, we're watching high school girls having a philosophical discussion about quantum theory and multiverses. And then we suddenly have a whole different actress playing Mitsuko, only this time it's yet another world, set a decade in the future, and she's about to get married in front of a sea of strangers. And of course, things somehow only get even more strange from here. But while this does prove interesting in the abstract, the movie suffers greatly from the lack of clear vision or direction. The idea of some Alice in Wonderland type coming-of-age story where a young woman tries to figure out who she really is, all while simultaneously finding herself in alternate realities, is compelling in and of itself. But when the movie is far more focused on being strange and playing with its heady themes in an admittedly childish manner, rather than making any real attempts to tell a story, it feels sort of pointless. And sadly, that's precisely what Tag is, pointless. In fact, the movie revels so much in being pointless that it eventually ends by literally walking away from everything. No answers, no clarifications, it simply gives up and goes home. Now, there's some vague implication that Mitsuko has resolved her journey, some completion to her arc, that she finally comes to terms with who she is as a person. But that doesn't actually happen. The conflict the movie does resolve is one that pops up later in the film rather than the one we've been watching for the previous hour. At no point do we really see Mitsuko struggling with her place in the world or her self-image. The movie simply leaps right into the strange from the start. And because of this, we never really get to spend any personal time with Mitsuko. We never see or even hear what's going on in her head. It's just her being dragged from one place to the next, while other characters talk at Mitsuko, and thus us, the audience. In short, Mitsuko is less a character and more of an avatar for the audience. So aside from being too quiet and reserved, we don't really know who or what Mitsuko is. She's just a blank slate with no real personality or interests, an unknown victim in a cosmic joke. Now, the movie could have shown her growing from this aggravating, indecisive scaredy cat teenager into a secure, determined young woman. But instead, the movie simply has other characters instructing Mitsuko what to do at every turn. She never grows, she's never interesting, certainly not to the extent of everything else around her. And then it all just sort of ends with no real payoff. Short, pointless, paced like it has no desire to get to the end, Tag shouldn't be anywhere as enjoyable as it really is. There's plenty of reasons to even enjoy the ride, only to retroactively find yourself disappointed by all of it. And yet Tag is still worth chilling with, should you be in the mood for something way left of normal. That's gonna do it for us tonight on the Nightly Chill. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and follow, and also be sure to leave me any questions, comments, suggestions for future reviews, and maybe even discuss today's movie at greater length. And as always, this video is brought to you in part by our viewers. If you'd like to learn how to support this and other projects, please visit AmoralCrackpot.com or check the description below. But until next time, y'all need to make like a tree and get out of here.